Okay, so date is currently 12th of August, 2nd of August, 11:30. I am building out the record collection, turn that down. Record collection volume 2, marketing strategy. I want to talk through how I'm doing this for reference as well as just documentation. The idea with these SSS productions is that we want each one to have its own distinct marketing rollout. Not that it falls into just everything else that goes into the page. Because these SSS productions are heavily curated, it's important that each release, whether that's a documentary series, a musical release, or anything else that we're doing that's a proper SSS production, has its own marketing strategy behind it. Essentially, it's going to be treated as a campaign. So in this case, the record collection volume 2 will follow its own strategy and rollout specific to that volume that falls into the larger story behind that we're telling with SSS Studios. It's important that this was kind of done methodically because you probably hear everything that's fucking going on out there. Oh my goodness. It's important that this is done methodically because every level of volume 2, in the sense of music production, visually, the people we're working with is being leveled up. And it's important that the marketing is also leveled up as well. So the way that I'm starting to do this is that I built out a general skeleton in which I am planning to follow when looking at how we're going to strategize the marketing approach for all future volumes. The aim is to create a document that somebody could read and look at how we've approached our strategy, and so they could fully get it from the ground up. So that starts with what is the record collection, volume 2, the strategy for each platform, what buckets of content are going to fall under each different platform. And that's important because each platform is going to have a different strategy depending on what it's best used for. You have the visual identity, it's going to be hopefully followed across all different buckets, and then the deliverables and how we're going to push it out. I've been doing this is essentially I'd have the AI work with me through each different section in this plan. So I'd get AI to ask me as many questions as it deems necessary for me to answer, so that I can give it as much information as possible for it to kind of learn, understand the project and the approach I want to take. Section 2, the approach for volume 2 and why it's unique in its own right. And what I'd do is I'd put the questions into my notes, and then I'd literally click this button here, and I'd speak and I'd answer the questions out loud whilst it would write out all of my thoughts. Now, I know myself that I definitely would not be able to write down all of my thoughts on typing it, and it would take way too long. So what I do is that I speak my mind. I probably speak for however many minutes, and it writes down everything that I'm saying, as it just has been. And then I take this piece of text into another AI and get it to summarize it. Once the AI has fixed the grammar of what I've said, you eventually start to build up long pieces of text that make sense when read, which have basically gone from my head onto the computer, and then I collate all of this information, put it into ChatGPT, and work through section by section. And then right now we're currently ended up on section 2, and we've built out the first kind of levels of this strategy, and we're just working through section by section. So I found this a really useful way to kind of work with AI. Just find it in a way that doesn't feel like I'm just sitting away typing at a computer. I've been doing it, so it works more collaborative with me, and instead of telling AI just to do this and do that, I get it to consistently ask me questions so it can better understand my thought process. Actually, we're probably like 4 hours into it, and it's got every single level of detail that it could possibly imagine because I've just spoken my mind in a way that makes sense to it. So yeah, that's the approach, and that's how we're moving through it. So we're currently on platform strategy. We'll see how it goes. Would you prefer the campaign to unfold chronologically, teaser, BTS, artist feature, final video, or more fluidly? Yes, it's incredibly important to me that the campaign across all platforms, how it's rolled out, is done in a chronological order. I think this is the best way to kind of tell the story of what we're creating, who's involved, the process behind it. I think that's the best way. I feel like doing it more fluidly, you run the risk of not telling the right story behind it all, and people may just get lost in what you're putting out. It's incredibly important that everything is put out in chronological order with a specific approach and plan to it. Just spoken for like 5 minutes, as you just saw. These are all the answers to the questions that I've just chatted rubbish about. Copy, go into another AI thing in, to put all of everything that I've said in a way that it makes sense to read. We've gone from words and words and words, answers that make sense and that can be read in a structural way. Bash.